Alright, so we have a new subject for the semester. The subject is risk management for financial management students. And this video is going to be the course introduction, and we're also going to show the course content, right? So for the introduction, or maybe we should start with the course content actually. So, etong resource or yung material na gagamitin natin for the discussion, this is available online, and the title of the book is Fundamentals of Risk Management. And I think this is provided by the Institute on Risk Management, or was it Institute of Risk Management? Something like that, okay? I'll be providing the link in the description of the video, but for now, let's go through the course content. Okay, so yung course content ng subject, so you have 5 modules. Essentially, yung resource material is, it has a lot of chapters, tapos a very comprehensive. I think it's, for people who'd like to specialize in risk management. But since this is a, undergrad subject, so may pipiliin lang tayo na chapters na i-discuss natin for the subject. Okay, so yung module 1, we will be covering chapters 1 to 4 nung libro na gagamitin natin. So we'll be defining the risk management framework, the importance of risk management, and then yung illustration ng risk management as a process. Okay, and then yung module 2, we will be covering chapters 5 to 6 of the material. Discuss natin doon yung principles of risk management, tapos yung significance of those principles in the success of risk management implementation. And then lastly ay, kumbaga yung situational, different cases kung saan ma-apply natin yung principles of risk management. And then module 3, we will be covering chapters 7 to 9. Dito, de-describe naman yung context, essentially yung process na mismo ng risk management, and we start with risk identification methods. Tapos, yung scope din, and then the risk criteria, kasi nga it would depend on the organization or the business or the company na mag-i-implement or mag-develop ng risk management plan. Okay? Tapos, meron din ditong template problems and sources analysis on how different stakeholders will be affected. Okay? Yung mga different risks that they would be exposed to. Okay? And then module number 4, we will be discussing chapters 13 to 18. Dito, madidiscuss yung tools in quantifying investment risks, since in a way, financial management students kayo, and for the most part, the financial management yung nagiging focus, And then we've also had the subject investment and portfolio management before. So, eto, medyo related siya doon. Tapos, madidiscuss din essence of quantifying investment risk in choosing investment portfolio, present in a table the assigned values of the likelihood and consequence of the risk in the chosen business, and classification of each risk. Okay, so you have your classification dito yung sa process ng risk management, and then ipapakita din in a way yung process na how you put certain values on the different types of risk, ano ba yung probability, ano yung likelihood, or ano yung frequency and impact nila. Okay? And then you have your 4 categories of risk treatment. Normally, after you identify and then classify the risk na exposed yung business, then you'd have to, of course, treat them in a certain way. Discuss naman natin yun. It's either avoidance, revision, reduction, ganyan. Elimination. Okay, tapos, benefits of appropriate risk treatment. Okay, depending on the type of risk, syempre meron siyang kaakibat or more the appropriate risk treatment na i-apply. And then you have your, applicability ng risk treatment to the type of risk identified. Module Module 5, ito yung last, we'll be covering chapters 31 to 34, saka yung chapter 12. So, this is more on the reporting or communication. After you have your risk evaluation, syempre monitor mo siya. And then you have your risk evaluation, risk assessment. Afterwards, it's either going to continue with the risk treatment or you're going to have to change something. Essentially, yung results ng evaluation, you have to communicate that with the stakeholders or all the people involved in handling those particular risk na in-applyan nyo ng risk management plan. Okay? So, dito sa Module 5, Development of Risk Management Plan, Importance of Monitoring and Reviewing the Risk Management Plan to its effectiveness. So, you have as a final output then, dito sa subject na risk management, you'll be submitting a paper na risk management plan. So, you have doon yung risk management process. So, you have the, of course, the objectives, and then the identification, risk identification, and then you have your risk monitoring, and then you have your evaluation. After that, after evaluation, so you have your either review or if you want to make changes to the plan. So, ayun. And then after, which is communication. Okay. Under pa rin ang Module 5, discuss the applicability ng risk management to corporate finance. And then you have make a risk management plan with appropriate control objectives and mitigation and contingency measures for the identified risk in their chosen business. State which rules in the practice of risk communication apply to given situations. Okay? So, enough ba na oral na lang yan or, distributed to certain people or sino-sino ba yung dapat ay properly informed when you make changes to the risk management plan or when you, get results or, the review results of a risk management plan. And then how you properly communicate it, kailangan ay, for the most part, mas maganda kung written naman talaga. Okay? Present in a creative way how to communicate the identified risk in their chosen business. Okay? So, for my students, so sabi ko nga, pili sila ng company na gusto nilang gawa ng risk management plan. For the most part, I think I said na siguro yung business na balak nilang pasukin after they graduate or, company na balak nilang pag-applyan or gusto nila, yun yung lugar na gusto nilang magtrabaho when they graduate. Okay, so government office ba yan, private company, or certain type of industry. So, ayun. You will have to consider those things. Okay? So, ito yung for the course content. And again, yung resource material, nasa video description, yung link. You can check them out. Tapos, naka-state naman dito kung ano yung chapters na i-discuss for the video discussions. Okay? Yung other chapters, if you're interested to read them. Kasi nga, very comprehensive naman yung libro. If you're planning to make risk management your specialization, then you can use it as a material naman. Okay? So, balik tayo dun sa course introduction. Okay, bali itong course introduction, ito yung nasa libro mismo. And I've already read this introduction and then chapters 1 to 6. And then I've made some highlights na rin naman. Okay? So, for the introduction, let's begin. Risk management. So, itong libro na to, pwedeng gamitin daw if you would want a comprehensive introduction to the theory and application ng risk management. And normally, di ba, even in our personal lives naman, we are exposed to risk. And in a way, merong certain types of risk that we are already in a way, have been prepared for. Tapos meron din namang others na, of course, may encounter mo lang later on in life. And then, when you become part of the society, syempre, more exposure than to the risk. Pag part ka ng organizations, either public or private, so you would also be exposed to the types of risk na exposed din sila. Okay? So, dito sa book na to kasi, kinlassify niya into 3 yung types of risk. Tapos, of course, meron pa rin naman siyang sub-classifications. Okay? So, mag-skip ako dito with regards kung saan lang may highlights. So, ito, sinabi dito, we all face risk in our everyday lives. Pwedeng personal activities, di ba, yung mga na-aksidente or kung ano man, ganyan. Tapos, yung iba naman, ito, pag nagta-travel, or pwede rin naman sa personal financial decisions natin, yung iba na-scam, ganyan. So, there are considerable risks present in the domestic component of our lives, and these include fire risk in our homes, or pwede rin naman sa mga business premises. Okay, the financial risk associated with home ownership, and of course, you have to pay your real property taxes, or else, diba, it can be fined or something. Or if, depende yung risk na binili mo yung bahay pero pinangalan mo sa ibang tao. So, there are risks associated with that. Diba? For certain reasons, you decided to do that. But, of course, there are risks involved. Okay? O di kaya naman nagpahiram ka ng pera, tapos andun yung risk na hindi ka mabayaran agad kapag kinailangan mo na siya. Okay? Ayan. So, maraming types of risk. And hindi lang naman sa personal lives nga natin, pati naman businesses exposed din. And for the most part, yung mga businesses, hindi naman mas malala. Kasi yung mga businesses kasi, di ba, ay it would, tawag dito, since yung mga businesses is, let's say, marami silang empleyado, so they would affect not just their organization, but the lives as well of their employees. Tapos, ando na rin yung business relations nila with other businesses, and of course, diba yung compliance nila with the regulatory agencies, with the laws and regulations, ganyan. So, maraming maapektuhan when a business operates, and when they are exposed to certain risk, hindi lang normally sila yung affected. Merong other stakeholders na affected eh. Okay? So, ayan. So, itong book na to, or yung subject natin, syempre, focus natin is on business and commercial risk. Okay? So, mga businesses exposed din naman sa, you have your accidents. Mga employees, syempre, na-aksidente sa trabaho, or, let's say, exposed din sa fire risk, kapag hindi nagkaroon ng aksidente, hindi naging maingat, maaaring magkasunog sa building, ganyan, or kung anumang types of threats, ito nandito. Nature of risk. Recent events in the world have brought risk into higher profile. You have your terrorism, extreme weather events. Diba, pag bumabagyo, minsan affected din ang, premises din, nasisira ang building, or, pinapasok ng putik, pinapasok ng tubig, or kung ano man. Minsan basura, okay, nagkalat, tinanod ng baha, papunta sa business premises, ganyan. And the global financial crisis represent the extreme risks that are facing society and commerce, okay? In a way, itong mga to, parehong affected yung business, and then the economy, the government, and the people, as a whole, These extreme risks exist in addition to the daily, somewhat more mundane risks mentioned above, okay? So, yung range of risk responses, merong certain types of risk na syempre, di ba? Yung tipong naturuan na tayo. Okay, kunwari, pag nagkaroon ng sunog, di ba? Pag nagkaroon ng sunog, ang turo sa atin, lumabas ka na lang ng building, wag ka nang magpapatagal, di ba? Wag mo nang subukan na mag-empake or magsalba ng gamit nyo kasi yung sunog is, kumbaga, proven naman na mabilis kumalat. Within minutes is, yung buong bahay na, buong building na ang nasusunog. Okay? So, ayun. Tapos, di ba, kapag meron namang lindol, okay, tinuruan ka yung duck or hide or kung ano man yon. Tapos, syempre, if there's time pa naman, just go out of the building. Mga ganyan. Okay? Pero kunwari, bagyo, yun, medyo tinuruan naman tayo, na mag-pack ng essentials, konting gamit, konting pagkain, medicines, kits, ganyan, na kapag kaya pa dun sa bahay nyo, edi stay lang kayo dyan. Kapag hindi na talaga, pinapasok na kayo ng tubig sa loob ng bahay, tapos, tumataas na yung level ng tubig, edi syempre, pa-evacuate na kayo. But of course, meron naman siyang prevention din, yung alert level. Kapag naman na project na yung area na yon is going to be hit by heavy rains during a typhoon, edi pinapa-evacuate naman ng early. Okay, mas maaga. Pero kung hindi na kita agad or hindi agad na notice or na alert yung mga tao dun sa particular area, edi rescue operations ang mangyayari. Okay. So, ayan, just some of the natural hazards, risk na kinakaharap ng mga tao. Okay? So, ayan, dun sa risk response, syempre, deciding the most appropriate response in each case is at the heart of risk management. Kumbaga, the reason we try to manage the risk is para nga maiwasan yung worst situations. Yung merong mamatay, merong masaktan, merong masira na mga kagamitan, ganyan. Diba? Ayan. So, responding to risk should produce benefits for individuals or organizations. Okay? Many of the responses to risk are automatic. So, yun na nga, di ba, pag merong mga sakuna, meron nang naituro sa atin in a way. Okay? Di ba, pag nasa school naman tayo, merong mga fire drill, merong earthquake drill, ganyan. Tapos kapag merong bagyo, di ba yung sa mga news, merong mga reminders na sinasabi. And then during this pandemic, di ba, halos araw-araw maririnig mo rin sa TV or radio yung mga paalala na, di ba, keep your distance, wash your hands, put your mask on kapag nasa labas ka, ganyan, di ba? Ayan. Types of risk that can only have negative outcomes. Ang tawag natin sa kanila ay hazard risk. Okay? Yan na nga yung mga natural disasters or health risk din. Okay? Kasama yan. I think accidents din kasama, kasi pag na-aksidente ka normally, it would have a negative outcome. So, yan, hazard risk. And sometimes these are inherent, merong pagkakataon, of course, na you can try to prohibit, di ba? Kunwari, yung fire, edi syempre, ingatan nyo yung mga tawag dito, or yung set up ng electrical wirings, di ba, maintain, check regularly para hindi yung nagkakaroon ng accidents nga na bigla-bigla na nagkakaroon ng sparks or whatever. Ganyan. So, ayun. Some of them could be prevented. Kunwari, yung accident sa traffic. Di ba, kung maingat ka naman na driver, di baka sakali, maiwasan mo yung aksidente. Okay? Or maingat ka sa pagtawid sa kalsada, tingin sa kaliwa, tingin sa kanan, bago tumawid, ganyan. Diba? Mga bagay na tinuturo sa atin ng mga bata pa tayo. Okay. So, yung type na yon, hazard risk. Alright? Tapos, yung other naman, types of risk, certain other risks have established or required responses that are imposed on us as individuals or organizations as mandatory requirements. Okay, example, yung pagbili ng insurance kapag ikaw ay merong kotse. Yan. I think yung CTPL, yung compulsory third-party liability, it's a legal requirement kapag ikaw ay nagmamaneho, may sarili kang sasakyan, or may sasakyan ka, or nagmamaneho ka. Yan. I think it is a legal requirement. Tapos yun namang bibili ka ng insurance for your house or yung life insurance din. Hindi siya legal requirement, pero kumbaga, good risk management siya and it's a sensible decision. Kasi you're trying to, tawag doon, hindi naman curve, pero kumbaga, you are trying to prepare for that particular type of risk. Ayan. And then you have your control risk na tinatawag. Ito yung types of risk na merong large degree of uncertainty associated with them. Kumbaga, uncertainty, hindi inaasahan. Okay? So, ang example dito, yung car breakdown. Although, pag maintain mo naman yung car mo, diba? Regularly, especially. So, kumbaga, hindi masyado, yung expectation na magbe-breakdown yung car mo. Okay? Or, yung maintenance din ng electrical, ng building, tawag doon. Di ba ngayon, chine-check na rin, in-inspect, yung building for their, tawag doon, hindi ko matandaan. Pero chine-check din, ini-inspect din ang mga buildings annually. Di ba kapag kumukuha ng business permit ng isang company or isang business, chine-check na rin. To ensure na magtatagal pa yung building, hindi siya yung madaling guguho kapag nagkaroon ng earthquake or something. Ganyan. Anong tawag dun Kalimutan ko lang. Ayan. So, in a way, yung control risk, kaya siya tinawag na control, there is still something that you can do in a way, to prevent it or to curb it. Pero, hindi mo siya may eliminate totally. Okay? So, ayan. Risk that we take because we desire and probably expect a positive return. Ayan. Ang tawag naman dito ay opportunity risk. Okay? Sa part ng businesses, syempre, merong mga ventures or projects na minsan gusto nilang pasukin kasi nga merong possibility ng positive return. Pero syempre, meron pa rin siyang risk kasi kapag hindi naging maganda yung venture, edi possible loss. Okay? Pero on the other hand, andun nga yung possibility na mag-earn yung company. Okay? So that's an opportunity risk. It could go both ways, but if it's executed well, edi it's going to be good for the company. It's going to have a return. Okay? So in a way, it's some sort of investments. Pinagagamitan ng resources ng company. Another example niya is yung placing a bet or gambling. Okay, pero pag kinompare mo itong dalawa, of course, itong placing a bet or gambling, normally, beyond your control yung mga gagawin to get the result. Okay, unlike sa business, syempre, kapag nag-invest ka ng pera sa isang venture, you have to get involved in that venture for you to know kung ano yung nangyayari sa venture, paano niraban yung venture, and of course, kung, kailangang makita mo na feasible talaga siya, and that it would earn money for the business or the company. Ayan. So, yun yung support ng business. Okay, risk management. Parang ang haba na itong introduction, Anyway, risk management. Organizations face a very wide range of risks that can impact the outcome of their operations. The desired overall aim may be stated as a mission, or a set of corporate objectives. The event that can impact an organization may inhibit what it is seeking to achieve, yung hazard risk. Kumbaga inherent kasi itong hazard risk. Halos lahat naman exposed dyan. Enhance that aim, di ba, opportunity risk. Of course, businesses, di ba, they say their bottom line is normally profitability. Kasi in a way, it does support yung continuity ng business. Para makapagpatuloy na mag-operate yung business, of course, it has to be profitable. Okay? Kasi normally yung profit naman, dinadagdag lang sa funds ng company, and then they could, either expand, create new products or services for their clients. Okay? Tapos you have your control risk then. Create uncertainty about the outcomes. Okay? So kung mayroong uncertainty and you have, something or you have a contribution in a way na pwede mong, kumbaga makontrol, to get better results. So you can do that. Okay? So, ayan. Risk management on the part of the businesses. Syempre, mga businesses nga, meron siyang objectives, corporate goals and objectives. And then, yung achievement ng corporate goals na yon could be prevented by these types of risk, your hazard, opportunity, and control risk. Okay? And that's why they needed the risk management. Okay? Doon papasok ngayon yung risk management para hindi makasagabal itong presence ng risk in the achievement of their goals and objectives. Okay? Kasi they have to deal with the various risks. Okay? Itong risk management, it offers an it needs to offer an integrated approach to the evaluation, control, and monitoring of these three types of risk. Okay? Again, yung three types of risk: hazard, opportunity, and control risk. Okay? And yung sa management process natin na part ng risk management, so of course you have your identification ng risk, and dun sa part ng identification, nandun din yung ika-classify mo ng maayos yung risk, and then after that you have to evaluate sila and to check kung anong type of treatment ang maaaring i-apply. Okay? And once you have your risk treatment, then you have to see kung ito ba effective, ito ba nakaka-improve ng situation ng business or not. Okay? So, dun papasok yung control and monitoring. Okay? And after that, of course, yung results, edi communicate with the stakeholders or users of information that would help enhance pa yung risk management plan ng business. Okay? Ayan. So, yung risk management process, kailangan siya ay well-established. Okay? Of course, depending on the type of the business. Kasi meron namang mga startup pa lang, hindi pa ganun ka-established ang mga policies nila. What more itong risk management nila. And then you have your medyo well-established companies na. They do have policies and they have also included itong risk management plan nila. Dito sa Pilipinas, I think financial institutions, they are required to have a risk management plan. Okay? And then, if makikita nyo yung kanilang financial statements, merong a certain portion na about risk management. Kasi for the most part, they are very exposed, syempre, sa financial risk, ang mga financial institutions. So, they have that portion sa kanilang financial statements, kung ano yung kanilang risk management plan, okay, to deal with the different types of risk that they are exposed to. Okay? Okay, so yung ibang industries, ibang businesses, type of business, ganun din naman, especially if they have, significant risk exposure that would significantly affect them, lalo na kung detrimental yung effect, they have to prepare for that by developing a risk management plan na kanilang i-implement. Okay? Ayan. So, yung risk management process, kailangan siya ay supported by a framework within the organization. Yung framework dito, essentially, it's a support structure. Okay? Kumbaga, ay papaano sa supportahan ng business yung risk management. Of course, they have to give attention to it. They have to allocate a portion of their resources, especially manpower din. Kasi they have to monitor the different types of risk and exposure of the business to it. Okay? Key components of a successful risk management framework are the communications and the reporting structure. Okay? Ito, very important din. Para saan pa na nag-risk management ka, nag-apply kayo ng risk management plan, tapos hindi nyo naman communicate na maayos yung nagiging results, diba? So, reporting, communication, it's very important. This is under ng architecture. Then you have your overall risk management strategy set by the organization, strategy, understand strategy. Tapos you have this set of guidelines and procedures or yung protocols that have been established. And in a way, ito yung framework or yung support, yung guidelines and procedures. Alright. At ang importance nito, later, discuss din yan. Tapos, madidiscuss din natin yung mga risk management standards around the world and internationally. And then, alin ba yung ginagamit dito sa Philippines. Okay? Dun sa risk management terminology, okay. Ang pinopoint kasi dito sa book is that since merong different approaches kasi, different parts of the world, they do have different approaches to risk management. So, in a way, medyo nagkakaiba ng terminologies na ginagamit in the US, in the UK, in Asia, or, other parts of the world. So, dito, medyo explain niya Diba na when a certain book or a certain article is talking about this particular terminology, meron siyang equivalent terminologies na ginagamit ng other studies or other papers. Okay? So, yun yung pinapoint niya dito. Common language and common understanding of risk management processes and protocols, at least internally. Okay? Kasi di ba nga, ang end goal natin dito develop ng risk management plan for the particular organization or business that you would have in mind. So, when you create the risk management plan, parang meron ka ring your own definition of terms na applicable dun sa business mo na yun. Para at least internally magkakaintindihan kayo nung iba pang gagamit nung risk management plan ninyo. Okay? But kung studies naman about risk management, yung i-discuss natin dito sa book, edi yun nga, mababanggit yung equivalent terms niya na ginamit in other studies or standards. Okay? So, ayan. Different approaches to risk management. Meron tayong different risk management standards. Tapos, meron siyang wide range of guidance material. Okay? So, yan. Medyo magiging confusing siya kasi nga magkakaiba na terminology. But, the book will try to address that. Okay? Benefits of risk management. Ito, compliance. Of course, as businesses, they are subject to rules and regulations. First, you have your BIR, you have your SEC, you have your BSP, kung ikaw ay financial institution, and then if you're operating internationally, there would be other standards that you would be subjected to, and of course, you have your accounting standards, reporting-wise, So, ayan, compliance. And then yung assurance, in a way, you'd like to know that you are indeed compliant with the regulations, laws and regulations. Tapos yung assurance ba na you're doing well as a company. Okay? You are performing well and you are contributing to the economy. Okay? Tapos you have your decisions and efficiency and effectiveness or efficacy. Okay, sa operations ng business, of course, ang goal then is efficiency kasi nga we have limited resources, but we have to try to maximize the output that we can produce by using the limited resources. So, efficiency ng operations naman yan. Okay? Ayan. So, yung compliance, yun nga, ensure that the organization complies with legal and regulatory obligations. Yung assurance naman, kasi yung board of directors or board of trustees, kumbaga, they would like an assurance that significant risks have been identified and appropriate controls are put in place. Okay, so kumbaga yung assurance pala, of course, they have the risk exposure and they do not want to be affected negatively. So, by implementing a risk management, so they are assured that, kumbaga, they would not experience the worst case scenario and that they are prepared for the worst case scenario. Okay, or they have a plan in place already to prevent that from happening. Okay, so it's an assurance then. Okay. And then, of course, enhance the efficiency of operations within the organization. Ensure that business processes, including process enhancements by way of projects and other change initiatives, are effective and that the selected strategy is efficacious. Okay, ibig sabihin nito efficacious is capable of delivering exactly what is required. Okay, kasi diba we have corporate goals and objectives. And for the company to be able to achieve those, kailangan yung processes ay structured in a way na ma-achieve yung goals and objectives. Okay? Ayan, yung tatlo. Again, ito yung 3D, benefit ng risk management. So, aside from compliance and assurance, itong tatlo, efficiency, effectiveness, and efficacious strategy. The intended benefits of any risk management initiative have to be identified. Of course, ang isang company iisip lang naman yan na mag-develop ng risk management once they have accepted the fact that they are exposed to certain risk, and that these risks they are exposed to would affect them negatively. Kasi kung hindi naman nila i-acknowledge na meron silang risk exposure, then paano nila maiisip na gumawa ng risk management plan? Okay? Paano nila makikita yung benefit ng risk management? Nakikiuso lang sila. Okay? So essentially, it would begin with acceptance din, that they are exposed to certain risk and that yung exposure could affect them negatively, and that to prevent that, they would have to implement a risk management plan. Right? So, ayan, kailangan ma-identify din yung goals or yung benefits ng risk management kapag sisimulan ng isang organization or ng isang business. Okay? Sorry. Features ng risk management, failure to adequately manage the risk faced by an organization can be caused by inadequate risk recognition, insufficient analysis of risk, significant risk, and failure to identify suitable risk response activities. Sa isang company na, baguhan pa lang naman, nagsisimula pa lang ng risk management. So, hindi pa sila sanay, hindi pa nila gamay kung paano i-implement yung risk management. So, in a way, medyo possible na hindi maging maayos yung implementation. So, there could be a failure pa din despite having a risk management na already. Okay? So, ito, inadequate risk recognition. You have a risk management plan in place, pero when it comes to identifying what types of risk your company is exposed to, let's say, meron kang na-miss na a few risks that you're exposed to, and since na-miss nyo hindi nyo na-identify agad-agad, so hindi nyo na-address yung certain risk na yun. Yun pala yung naka-affect dun sa business nyo. Diba? Ayan, insufficient analysis of significant risk. For you to be able to analyze those risks, syempre, you need to identify them. Kung sa beginning pa lang is hindi na-identify, lack of analysis na agad. Okay? But let's say na determine nyo or na-recognize nyo yung risk, pero hindi nyo napag-aralan na maayos, you probably thought of only one aspect of it, hindi nyo nakita yung mayroon pa pala siyang other side, na it could also affect that aspect of the business. So, insufficient analysis. Alright, tapos, itong last, failure to identify suitable risk response. Okay. Different types of risk, meron siyang, kanya-kanyang appropriate risk treatment or risk response. Okay. Pero, yun nga, it's possible din na hindi maayos yung pagkaka-identify ng risk treatment. Okay. Hindi pala swak doon yung in-implement na risk treatment. So, mali. Kumbaga sa taong may sakit, ibang gamot, gamot para sa ibang sakit yung naibigay sa kanya. Okay? So, kaya siya hindi naging maayos. Dito sa risk management, yun, na-identify na risk, tapos yung risk treatment naman na nai-apply is hindi naman swak dun sa risk na yun pala. Okay? Parang ganon. Risk in inefficient operations, consequences of failure. Okay, kapag hindi maayos yung pagkaka-implement ng risk management. It could result in inefficient operations, so kabaliktaran lang ng benefit niya. Projects that are not completed on time, strategies are not delivered, incorrect in the first place. Ayan. Risk management initiatives should be proportionate, aligned, comprehensive, embedded, and direct. So, ito daw yung mga kailangan para maging successful ang isang risk management. Later, madidiscuss naman natin yan. Okay, so you have, again, proportionate, aligned, dun sa goals and objectives then. And of course, yung risk and risk treatment, kailangan ay aligned and are compatible or appropriate. And then you have your comprehensive. Kailangan lahat ng types of risk ay ma-address. Hindi lang isang type of risk or a certain number of risks. As much as possible, lahat ng risk exposure is ma-deal with. Okay? Then you have your embedded. Kumbaga attached na siya sa management process, sa operations ng business. Kumbaga, hindi na siya nakahiwalay, naka-embed na siya sa mismong operations. And then you have dynamic, of course, changing time, especially with technology, and especially kung gumagamit ng technology ang inyong business. So you have to be dynamic or changing with the times or changing with the advancement in technology. Okay? So, ayan. Proportionate means that the effort put into risk management should be appropriate to the level of risk that the organization faces. Risk management activities should be aligned with other activities with the organization. And of course, pare-pareho dapat silang supportive of achieving the goals and objectives of the business organization. Activities will need to be comprehensive so that any risk management initiative covers all aspects of the organization and all the risks that it faces. Tapos yung last, risk management activity should be dynamic and responsive to the changing business environment faced by the organizations. Okay. Nabanggit na natin. Ayan. So, book structure, skip natin yan. Risk management in practice. So, yan. Medyo theoretical yung libro, but meron naman siya pinrovide na certain examples or case studies, pero medyo kukunti lang, with regards to practice mismo. And, of course, medyo mahirap siya kasi nga, different types of organizations would different industry, different companies would have different levels of exposure to risk. So, yung tawag dito, yung magiging response nila or yung magiging risk management plan nila to deal with their risk exposures, magkakaiba. Magkakaiba. And kumbaga, it's very customized, very specific to a particular company only. Kumbaga, depending on kung magkapareho ba ang situation yung dalawang company, saka lang sila magkakapareha. But for the most part, as long as merong slight deviation or slight difference yung company 1 and company 2, then definitely magkaiba rin talaga sila na magiging risk management plan. Okay? So, ayan. Future for risk management. So, andito yung acknowledgement na risk is bad and risk management has failed. Okay, this is during the global financial crisis. Actually, nag-start siya, I think, is during the 2002 financial crisis. This one is about Enron. And then, ayun, after that, nagkaroon ng more focus on risk management, especially yung sa compliance part din, and then the assurance na if only risk management plans were implemented properly, edi sana nga, edi sana napigilan, itong mga financial crisis na pinagdaanan natin. But, of course, over time, 2002 nag-start, kasi ito yung development din ng Sarbanes-Oxley Act. Okay? But, as we've seen, di ba, nagkaroon ulit ng financial crisis, 2008 naman. But, syempre, magkaiba naman sila ng story. But, essentially, kung andun yung existence ng proper risk management is, of course, again, ma-prevent sana yung mga ganyang scenario. Okay? After ng 2008 financial crisis na nabanggit dito sa book, some people were, questioning the role ng risk management. Kasi kung meron ng risk management, kasi nga 2002 yung nauna na financial crisis, tapos in-introduce yung Sarbanes-Oxley, tapos nagkaroon pa rin ang 2008 financial crisis. Ayan. So, parang hindi sila masyadong believe sa risk management. But then, merong, studies showing na kasi mali yung risk management na in-apply or hindi maayos yung pagkaka-implement ng risk management. That's why nag-occur pa din yung succeeding financial crisis natin. Okay? So, ayan. Organizations have to address the risk that they face because many of them have to undertake high-risk activities, especially ginagamitan ng pera. Either because these activities cannot be avoided or because activities are undertaken in order to produce a positive outcome for the organization and its stakeholders. Yan, mga business ventures, opportunity risk, ganyan. Failure of the management of organizations to successfully address the risk that they face. Okay, ito yung sinasabi kung bakit nagkaroon ng global financial crisis. Okay, hindi siya failure ng risk management mismo, but rather, yung organizations, hindi nila na-address ng maayos yung risk na kinakaharap nila. Kumbaga, meron silang risk management pero sablay. But risk management itself is, not a failure naman. It would require carefully planned implementation, proper implementation, syempre, design and successful embedding of a suitable and sufficient risk management framework. Ayan, tapos ay integrated approach na dapat naka-embed na sa business processes ng organization. So, kumbaga, let's say, merong isang taong may sakit, binigyan ng gamot, diba? Tapos, ito namang taong to, hindi maayos yung pag-intake ng gamot. Let's say, pinapainom sa umaga, may kasabay na ibang gamot, pinaghalo-halo, sinabay sa ibang gamot. Meron pala siyang, consequence. Kasi diba merong ganon, merong gamot na hindi pwedeng pagsabayin. Tapos merong gamot na kailangan i-take mo siya ay either morning or evening lang kapag medyo pagpatulog ka na or kapag bagong gising, ganyan. Tapos, ayan, hindi mo pwedeng pagsabayin with others. Either makaka-affect sa, blood pressure, blood sugar, or kung ano man, right? So, ang baga, parang ganun. Nangyari dun sa risk management. Meron namang risk management. You have your theories, you have your foundation, pero pagdating sa practice, implementation, medyo sumablay. Hindi naging maayos. That's why we still had our financial crisis. Ayan, ito yung last part sa introduction. Ang haba ng introduction. Halos isang oras din. Global financial crisis, ito. Summary of actions that would help to avoid a repeat of the global financial crisis. Una, there should be common processes, terminology, and practices for managing risk of all kinds. Okay? Kasi nga currently, you have your standards applicable in the US, you have your standards applicable in the UK, in Australia, other parts of the world. Pero in a way, it's actually kaya naman siyang i-reconcile or i-consolidate. Okay? And I think this book tried that. Second, it is essential that risk tolerances be fully understood, communicated, and monitored across the enterprise. Okay? Minsan kasi communication din talaga yung nagiging problem. Kasi you have the results, pero ang nakakakita lang ay certain people. Hindi nila alam, kailangan din pala nung kabilang grupo itong information na ito. And because they don't have the information, hindi na communicate na maayos sa kanila, they were unable to respond to it properly. Okay? Or di kaya naman late na nilang nakuha yung information, late na silang naka-react. The damage is already there, diba? So, mga ganong cases. Okay, so communication is vital to this. Third, incorporated into all key business processes and decisions. Kumbaga, hindi siya hiwalay na trabaho. Naka-embed na siya dun sa business process talaga ng company. Kumbaga, yun nga, pag tatawid ka ng kalsada, diba? Habang naglalakad ka, medyo malayo ka pa sa tatawiran. Of course, you're already looking left and right kung may, sasakyan ba na parating. Okay? So, ayun. Management should make risk-related decisions using dedicated high-quality risk information. And another important thing is gathering of information, kasi decision-making din naman itong risk management. They would only be able to provide proper responses kung kompleto din yung input or yung information na magagather nila. Kasi kung kulang yung information, most likely their response would not be appropriate. Okay? Kasi baka mamaya, okay, ito na yung decision, ito yung ginawa, tapos biglang merong information na dadating, ay ganito pala yung source or ganito yung situation, okay? You have to either react to that, pero what if hindi reversible yung naging decision na before makuha itong new information. Okay, so it's important na with regards to gathering of information from the beginning, diba, before you make a decision in response to the particular risk, is kompleto dapat yung information. Maayos yung information. And kumbaga may pinagbasehan ka dun sa decision na ginawa mo. Hindi yung nag-decision ka lang based on hunches or based on what you feel or based on very few information. Okay? So, ayun. And, ayun lang. That's for the introduction. Tapos, ito na yung chapter 1. Okay, so we'll end it here and then we'll proceed with chapter 1 of the book or of the discussion. Thanks and bye.